Well, that must be something that Virgos do too. Welcome.
And it is. This is why we get along. This is definitely
a motherfucker, you know? Well, open mic. What? Morgan, sorry, what were you saying? It's really easy to interrupt people on Zoom. It's weird with the glitching and stuff. What were you saying, Morgan? I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying that's why we get along. We both like to talk. Talkative motherfuckers, both of us, for sure. You know, now we're getting to letter writing, which has been fun. Anyway.
Yeah, another Virgo checking in.
All right, Virgo's in the house as well. New Jersey is also in their house. That's very exciting. Welcome to Ghost Town Poetry Open Mic, LGBTQ plus friendly, all ages and uncensored since 2004. Now on Zoom, so reaching the furthest, reaches of the world. If people want to hang out with us, we're happy to be here. I'm Christopher Luna. I founded the thing in 2004, and my co-host is Morgan Paige. Later this evening, you're going to hear from Michael Dillon Welch. He's our featured reader, and you're going to hear from a lot of great poets from all over the place. The meeting is being recorded and eventually will go onto YouTube. At some point here, I'll put the YouTube link up for people to see. And what else do you need to know? Oh, please keep yourself muted while people are reading, but then after a poet reads, if you really liked what they did, we would love it if you unmuted yourself for hooting, hollering, applauding, or whatever you'd like to do. And then just quickly hit that mute button again. It's very strange and difficult, especially for people that really care about performance, to read a poem and then have this like deathly silence afterwards. It's really fucking weird. So I am trying to encourage the community to just make some noise if you feel like making it. We're all about personal freedom at Ghost Town Poetry. It's not a rule. It's a strongly encouraged cultural activity that we'd like you to engage in with us. What else? Oh, if you haven't been on Zoom before, if you keep things on the speaker view, that will show you the person who is speaking, and the rest of the folks will be in smaller boxes at the top or on the side, depending on what sort of device you're using. So if we get a lot of people in here, and there's a lot of people in here now, and you just want to see who's talking at the moment, use that speaker view. And you can toggle anytime you want between the speaker view and the grid view, I think it's called. Also, we have set it up now for screen sharing. So if you want people to see what you're reading as you're reading it, it's totally up to you, but that's you're all now allowed to do it. I think the only reason why it's automatic that I have to give everyone permission to do it is because of these, hackers that we've all been hearing about on Zoom. They want to give the host of the thing some kind of control over what's going to happen. I think that's it in terms of like business or whatever. I'm gonna, because it's Black History Month, I would like to read one of my favorite Black authors. This is Amiri Baraka. He was also known as Leroy Jones for a certain portion of his life, contemporary with the beat writers, and then later a part of the Black arts movement, and eventually for a great many years identified as a third world Marxist. He's one of my favorite poets, and I want to share this short poem with you by Amiri Baraka called Prez Spoke in a Language. Prez spoke in a language of his own. What did he say between the horn line, S, pork pie hat, tenor tilted? Prez once was a drummer but gave it up because other dudes was getting the foxes while he packed his tom-toms. Ding dong, Prez said, meaning like a typewriter. It's the end of this line. No eyes, Prez would say, meaning I couldn't dig it. And what it was lame. Prez had a language and a life like all his own. But in the teeming whole of us he lived, tooting on his sideways horn, translating Frankie Trumbauer into birds' feathers, trains, sinewy tracks, the slickster walking through the crowd, surviving on a terrifying wit. It's the jungle, the jungle, the jungle we living in, and cats like Prez could make it because they were clear they, at least, had to do anything else. Save all that, comrades. We need it. Mary Baraka.
Yeah.
Love that so much. Woo!
Thank you. Let me see where we're at here. Our first open mic reader for this evening is Fen McDonald. Give them a warm Ghost Town welcome.
Goodness, first of the night. Okay.
Ben.
Alrighty. This poem is titled The Gambler, and I just wrote this Monday in one of Chris's workshops. My grandfather died in a grocery store parking lot. He dropped one of those cans of 5-minute cinnamon rolls on the way down. Nobody told me if it popped when it hit the ground. A stranger called the ambulance. The last thing he did was smile at her. That was my grandfather. Pockets full of hotel chocolates, always on the move. Once upon a time, he bailed out of a stalled plane into the sub-zero Alaskan winter. He set up camp miles from the crash site. Took 3 days for anybody to find him. The old man tried to teach me how to cheat at cards, how to walk through the service door at the casino with a free cup from the gas station to fill up at the soda fountain. I didn't take to it very well. Not really a fan of risk. They put him in the cemetery at the Air Force Base, just east of the runway. White marble stumps like off-brand ghosts of the 100-year ponderosa pines that were native to that land once, overshadowed now by the fence. I cannot cry at my grandfather's graveside without a military-issued day pass, so I gaze at the empty space between the bars. I sit here and I think about risk. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
I want to meet your grandfather.
Yeah.
Tragically, you are a bit late for that, but I feel you.
Next, we're going to hear one of several people in the Zoom room who are celebrating or have celebrated birthdays recently. Ian Kayton. Welcome, Ian.
Hey, what's up? Thanks, everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
Hey.
Happy birthday.
Hey, pretty good. So I don't have anything to read that's like my own right now. I haven't been doing enough writing, but I was gonna read something from this one right here because it's like super pertinent right now. But then I was like, I got a really good idea, and so like I went down and as soon as somebody said like I can do a screen share, I'm gonna do a screen share, and I'm gonna read a piece from Jericho Brown that he just published recently, and here, I'm sharing that. Let me see how to do it. I think. Are we sharing? Can you see that? Okay, so this is called Inaugural. We were told that it is dangerous to touch, and yet we journeyed here, where what we believe meets what must be done. You want to see in spite of my mask, my face. We imagine in time of disease, our grandmothers whole. We imagine an impossible America, and we call one another a fool for doing so. Grown up from the ground, thrown out of the sea, fallen from the sky. No matter how we've come in a mighty long way. If I touch any of you, if I shake one hand, I am nearer another beginning. Can't you feel it? The trouble with me is I'm just like you. I don't want to be hopeful if it means I've got to be naive. I've bent so low in my hunger, my hair's already been in the soup. I'm gonna read that again. I've bent so low in my hunger, my hair's already been in the soup. And when I speak, it's just beneath my self-imposed halo. You'll forgive me if you can forgive yourself. I forgive you as you build a museum of weapons. We soon visit just to see what we once were. I forgive us our debts. We were told to wake up grateful, so we tried to fall asleep that way. Where then shall we put our pains when we want rest? I don't carry a knife, but I understand the desperation of those who do, which is why I am recounting the facts as calmly as I can. The year is new, and we mean to use our imaginations. One of us wants to raise George Stinney from the dead. One of us wants a small vial of the sweat left on Sylvia Rivera's headband. Some want to be the music made magical by Bill Withers' stutterer. Others come with maps and magnifying glasses and graphite pencils to find locations beside the mind where we are not patrolled or surveilled or corralled or chained. I myself have come to reclaim the teeth in George Washington's mouth and plant them in the backyards of big houses that are not in my name. My cousins want to share a single bale of the cotton our mothers picked as children. I would love to live in a country that lets me grow old. I long for that. We are otherwise easily satisfied. Where do we get tangerines for cheap? Can we make it there on the metro? How hot is the fire? Fairy blister of chocolate chipotle sauce. And will you judge me if I taste it? But now we've put our hunger down for the time it takes to come and reconcile ourselves to the land because it is holy, to the water because it swallowed our ancestors, to the air because we are dumb enough to decide on something as difficult as love. If no one's punishment leads to my salvation, then accountability is what waits. It moves citizens, men's nations. That's for us to prove. That's the deed to witness. That's the single item on the agenda, read in braille or by eye, ink drying like blood, spilled this American hour of our lives. Jericho Brown, everybody. Thank you.
Woo! Thanks, Ian.
Damn.
Yeah, that I'm putting the link to Jericho Brown's website there. That book that he won that award for, The Tradition, is fantastic. You should check it out.
It's fucking amazing.
It's really good stuff. A bunch of new folks are about to be let in. I found out that it's maybe not so easy to do that while someone is sharing their screen, but that's okay. People have to wait a minute. I'm hoping that one of those people is Matt. So I'm going to vamp a little bit here and see if Matt is here. Matt, are you here?
I'm here.
It's Matt. Hi, Matt.
Hey, Matt. It's great to see you.
What's
Yeah,
up,
you too.
Matt?
Matt, you got here just in time to read a poem to us. Are you ready to read something to us?
I am. Yeah, good. I'm glad that came through.
You're next on the list, so there you go.
Okay, cool.
Nice to see you.
This is from a book I'm working on where I kind of deal with a brain injury and kind of issues of masculinity and recovery. This is called Being Kissed on the Flaccid Penis. Abandon ego and the hope of blood. Forget my name and what her lips might do with it. Feel what they're doing now. Return will require savoring the joy of being kissed on the wreckage. New sparks in new air are brighter on the edge of darkness. In the new excitement of excavation, being a failure does not mean that it is not beautiful. An expanding bruise in the center of myself gave me an intimate introduction to my own death. I want to run as far as possible from that place. With my legs hanging off a mattress, worshiping at the altar of life, my tongue is the only part of me that believes in baptism. She rides me with the diligence and kindness of a Midwestern sewing circle cooking for a town they grew up in after a flood. Nothing wasted is the way back. Thanks.
Oh man, that's killer.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm encouraging people to applaud and hoot and holler. So if you like that, go ahead and do that now.
I'd kill for a couple of those lines. Those were fabulous. Thanks.
That form, I expect no less.
Hey Matt, I'm gonna put you on the spot for a second. Do you know what the title is gonna be of the next book that you're working on?
Yeah, the next book is going to be kind of where the first book, Consistently East, picks up, with the part of the recovery that involves me like simmering in the brain injury, and it'll be called What Brought Me Here Will Not Bring Me Back. And it's kind of taking a lot of my gender studies minor and applying it to the masculinity mythologies that kind of make you get in a bar fight and get a brain injury.
All right, man. I'm looking forward to it. And of course, our Printed Matter Vancouver published Consistently East, and I would encourage all of you to check it out. I'm proud to have published it, and I did it because it was unlike anything that I'd ever seen before. It's really good stuff. So I hope that you agree and you would check it out. And now I'd like to introduce you to my co-host for the evening, Morgan Paige.
What's up, everybody? Matt, I'm looking forward to that book as well. I'm so happy to see such a great turnout tonight. Here celebrating poetry and birthdays and, you know, snow, and we've got the new moon. And you know what? I was about to interject in the beginning, but please, please, please bring some good energy. Like, I miss yelling in an audience. You know what I mean? I still cry actually once in a while, but I miss being in the same room. So it's like, I want to get that energy out tonight. And maybe because it's my birthday and Lorraine's birthday and Ian's birthday, maybe we could share a little howl later even to the moon, if that's okay. Just a birthday gift. But anyway, poetry. Next, I'd love to introduce Eileen Elliott, who just actually launched her Pobrecitos book last Friday with a reading. Beautiful book. I can't wait to get my copy. And welcome to the Ghost Town stage, Eileen.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm still missing being touched during this whole business of the pandemic. And so I am going to hopefully seduce you just a little bit with this poem, but in the most kind and sweet and gentle ways. It's called, and it's a poem that's two-edged, which of course is what anything is these days. It's called Dissonant Lullaby. Soothing you is my intent. My song that comes from deep inside the heart that I'm keen to keep open, to reach out with my eyes, with my body, my stance, my gesture, with my smiling lips, the lips you cannot see, now masked, to assure you that I am safe harbor, that my circle made of loving kindness is not a spiral trap of spiky teeth. But I know, and so do you, that this is a false message, a part of the fairy tale, territory where the witch being might rule, might command, and all our good intent, all our focus on light, on pushing back darkness, may falter, may fail. I want to sing you the lullabies of old, and the same refrain, the same 5-note phrase, repeat, 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 repeat itself. So the edginess of your day is worn down, polished to a quiet luster, so it gives off tiny shards of light, guiding your dream-filled steps through the long, desperate hours of pre-dawn. Perhaps that luxury will return, perhaps in time, so that all of us children, all of us creatures of the earth can take comfort from each other when we are close enough to each other to stroke each other's locks of hair, caress each other's skin, and marvel at the beauty held therein, and heal in the vibrations of energy once again exchanged and once again received.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
I love that piece, Eileen. Thank you so much for sharing it. And please put a link to your book where we can find that in the comments. That would be great. And check that out. Again, just came out, Pobrecitos. Order your copy today. And next we're going to hear from Darcy Schultz. Darcy, welcome to the Ghost Town stage.
Hi, I'm going to try and screen share. Let me know if you got it. Oops, that was the one I wanted to do. That's a list, right? That one. Okay, let me try again. That one. Okay, I think it's on. This is called Change. And I wrote it 4 years ago, but it felt completely right for today. Householders happy feast, candles of welcome lit, tables laden, it's enough. We, a crowd, Look out. Without warning, day launches toward evening with approaching wall of clouds. Don't let the light go out. Wind wolf blows open the heavy door. It shifts and snuffles, bites and rips, escorts escaping souls flying into want, into distance. They launch new lives as a dread curtain closes behind them, swallowing their light, maybe forever. The door warden shuts the door, prepared to outlast the storm. Don't let the light go out. In the emptiness, the house dweller feels rather than sees the stirring circle of earth and sun renewed, turning. She senses the blood rush of spring, the fall of fading wind floating over sudden sky. She opens the door a crack and looks out. Don't let the light go out.
Right on.
Beautiful.
Peter.
I love that. Was that from Monday night's workshop?
Actually, no, but it's the same form. I know. And so I think it might have been from an exercise we did before. If Christopher, if you have given us that form to work with before, because that is that BOP form.
BOP form, that's right.
And I don't remember what prompted it, but it was from February of 2017, and it feels like the plague year kind of a poem. To me,
Loved it. Yeah, absolutely.
So just, I was flipping through a book of stuff and found it and thought, well, yeah.
It was great. Thank you so much, Darcy. Next, we're going to hear from Sue Lick. Sue, welcome to the Ghost Town Zoom stage.
Thank you. This is going to be, it's the final poem of my book, Gravel Road Ahead, which was published a little over a year ago by Finishing Line, and I'll put the link in later. This is called Sister Alzheimer's Wife. The book is about our journey through Alzheimer's. Sister Alzheimer's wife, I know you, even though we have never met. I know the fear every time he forgets something he used to know, like how to make a sandwich or where the salad dressing goes. I know you lie awake at night watching him hallucinate, fighting monsters in the bed or not remembering who you are. He gets lost and pees on the rug. You're so tired you want to run away. I know you weep where he cannot hear, in the car, in the garage, on the toilet seat, then hurry to answer his calls for help. Turn on the TV or button his shirt. While the house needs work, lawns aren't mowed, and the oil light's been on in the car for weeks. I know you watch the money go as you pay bills you never paid before. Doctors, car repair, and soon the nursing home. Married but not a wife anymore, you miss kissing and sex and wine-soaked talks, sharing memories only you remember now. Oh, sister, I know you feel alone, that no one understands the way it is, that he's disappearing bit by bit, even if he looks the same as he always did. And it's not fair, not fair, not effing fair. But you promised, so you stay. Oh, Sister Alzheimer's wife, I know. I rode that ride from beginning to end, plastered in place by centrifugal force till it stopped, and I wobbled off alone. Dizzy and sick to my stomach, yes. But I staggered on, and so will you. Thank you.
Wow. Very, very powerful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sue.
It just kind of summarized it all up in one poem. It just,
yeah. It's a long, hard journey, but yeah, that's what it is.
It's really great. And Sue, if you'd like to put the link to that book in the chat, please go ahead and do that. And then, as I mentioned earlier, if anyone misses any of these links, I know they come fast and furious. I will send them out in a follow-up email within the next week or so. It's now my pleasure to introduce Michael Dillon Welch, who served 2 years as Poet Laureate of Redmond, Washington, where he's also the president of Redmond Association Spoken Word, director of the Poets in the Park Festival, and a curator since 2006 of Soul Food Poetry Night. Michael was keynote speaker for the 2013 Haiku International Association Conference in Tokyo, is co-founder of the biennial Haiku North America Conference, the American Haiku Archives, and the Seebeck Haiku Getaway. He also founded the Tanka Society of America and National Haiku Writing Month, the latter held every February, the shortest month for the shortest genre of poetry. His website is graceguts.com, and we are very pleased to have him here tonight. Please welcome Michael Dillon Welch.
Yay, Michael.
Michael, hey.
Thank you, Christopher, and thank you, Morgan. It's great to be here. Christopher, I was just thinking, it was like 18 months ago when we booked this date, something like that. And back then I was thinking, oh, great, I'm going to have a long weekend in Portland. I'll drive down and hang out and read on Thursday night and do something fun on Friday and, I don't know, go skiing or go to the coast on the weekend. And then look what happened.
What happened?
So if I were there, now would be the time I would hand this out. Anyone know what this is?
Yes.
I want to see lots of nodding heads. Okay, a Whitman's sampler of chocolates. Pass that out and you could enjoy that together. And
I'm imagining enjoying one, Michael. Thank you. That's so kind of you. It's Valentine's Day after all, and it's haiku month, so thank you.
So of course that's easier to do on Zoom. I could hand out free Porsches too. But I think that would be fun, and I really am sorry we can't meet in person. I was really looking forward to that, but I'm very thankful for Zoom, and thank you for running this, Christopher. I really appreciate it. I'm going to paste into chat, since it's National Haiku Writing Month, a poem, a haiku to start with. Warm winter evening, the chairs askew after the poetry reading. And I'll come back to haiku a little bit later, but mostly I'm going to be reading longer poems. And I have some links there for my website, National Haiku Writing Month, my Amazon author page, Soul Food Poetry Night, which we're doing on Zoom, and Poets in the Park, which is tentatively scheduled for June 5 and 6, with readers on the 5th and hopefully workshops on the 6th. And I'm really thrilled to say that Natalie Goldberg will be our featured guest. And if you don't know who that is, she wrote Writing Down the Bones, which is a bestseller. It sold 1 million copies, a wonderful writing practice book. And she's got an Europa background there, Chris. You probably know that. Anyway, I'm really pleased that she's going to be reading from her latest book, which is a memoir about haiku. And if you have not seen that, it's called 3 Simple Lines. And it's I'm just starting to read it myself, and I'm looking forward to her presentation and inspiration, assuming that actually happens on June 5, which I think it will. Anyway, enough of that. I'm going to begin with by invoking Lorca and Whitman, and I'll end by invoking Mary Oliver. So that's going to bookend what I'm sharing tonight. So to start with a poem called Finding Lorca's Grave. And for those of you who might not know, Federico Garcia Lorca was born in June of 1898 and was assassinated in Spain by nationalist militia at age 38 in 1936. And of course, he wrote a few good poems. So this is Finding Lorca's Grave. It's there, under an almond tree, by a bend in the road, on the outskirts of Visnar, so they say. I have my doubts. Surely his bones circulate in hell, where demons clamor just to touch them or see them from afar. Or maybe it's under an olive tree near Alfacar, where the rumors say he was not buried alone, but with those of the same insurrection where ibex and wild boar now roam. They carry his song with them over the parched hills, even today, in between the flutters of blue butterflies. It is perhaps for the best that his bones never be discovered, his remains never disinterred. For how could we seek the song he sought if he himself stops looking? Lorca. Thank you. And now here's where the relevance of this becomes a little more apparent. Whitman's sampler, which is chocolates, in case you aren't familiar with them. This is a Whitman ode of sorts, but with a twist. It's called Whitman's Lament. Box of chocolates, oh, noble box, our fearful trip is done. But still I ask, where, oh, where have you gone? You have taken your truffled honor away from my bearded presence, away from my trembling visage, forevermore away from my song of praise. If I beseech you to return, will you deign to listen? Will you fail me in my desire and my celebration of what both I and you should assume? Your every atom belongs to me, yet you have stridden away, finished to me, as to all others, and I am no more. I loaf and invite your soul, but you remain aloof. I hear America singing for you. I sing the chocolate electric, and the armies engirth you. With your nougat surprise, your nutty nutrition, your caramel ponderings, your pecan walnut clusters, your cherry cordials, your delectable fudge and toffee samplers. Yet you are gone, forever gone, and lilacs will never bloom in my doorway again. Oh, powerful fallen chocolate, oh, shades of light, oh, moody, tearful dark, how shall I warble myself for the dead cocoa beans I love? We must tarry here in sinewy lament, for we depend on you, oh chocolate, my chocolate, who bursts like a ruthless force. So beat, beat drums and blow, bugles blow. Oh me, oh life, my questions recur, and I cannot resolve my piercing grief, forever reproaching myself. The play will never go on now that you, oh box of chocolates, are forever gone, and no one more may contribute a verse, let alone pluck a mint or strawberry curse. And whatever I am holding now in hand, I know, alas, it is not chocolate, for all is useless. And I do not hint, but demand that you release me and depart on your way.
Great fun. I like that so much.
I'd help it.
I love
I'd
all
help
the
it.
Whitman. I love all the Whitman lines you threw in.
Yeah.
Well, thank you.
Chocolate, my chocolate.
It helps if you know Whitman. Okay, so this is my obligatory pandemic poem. Cough. In an email today, a friend who works at a hospital said, we have extra refrigerators outside for the bodies. He said it with the nonchalance of a cough, but in these shadowy days, even a cough is not nonchalant. The surgery I had scheduled for next month has been put off for 2 months after that. I have little confidence that it won't be rescheduled again. I cough repeatedly myself, but my doctor assures me it's just allergies, so much pollen in the air, even though I had a fever too. One day, we'll all need refrigeration. So this is called Penis Poem. And I should alert you that this is not a performance poem, but I don't mind if I get a rise out of you. Penis poem. That's the end of my jokes. Okay, here we go. Every time my wife says peanuts, it sounds like penis. This comes up in public places because our daughter is allergic. If we're at Olive Garden or Spaghetti Factory, my wife will say what sounds like, "Does this salad dressing have any penis in it?" Server glances at me for a second, furrowing her brow, then blurts, "Oh no, no peanuts." Our daughter came out to us last year as nonchalantly as if she'd told us she's left-handed. Maybe she's allergic to peanuts, to penises too. Through the last line. Oops. Okay. This is called Canticle. I can't take it. I can't cure cancer. I can't lick my elbow. I can't lose weight. I can't run a marathon, let alone an Ironman. I can't act. I can't climb mountains. I can't fly. I can't break dance or dance anything. I can't afford a trip around the world. I can't stop hiccups. I can't cook. I can't sing. I can't do calculus. I can't win the lottery. I can't speak Japanese. I can't play guitar. I can't pick a lock. I can't be on time. I can't break down a door. I can't give birth. I can't be a morning person. I can't be disciplined. I can't listen enough. I can't explain the origin of the universe. I can't remember my passwords. I can't obey speed limits. I can't kick bad habits. I can't stop aging. I can't whistle. I can't tickle myself. I can't believe 6 impossible things before breakfast. I can't recant. I can't vote Republican. I can't remember names. I can't do 100 push-ups. I can't save the world. I can't save the neighborhood. I can't eat meat. I can't walk a tightrope. I can't hula hoop. I can't wear plaid with stripes. I can't smoke or do drugs. I can't get a tattoo. I can't shoot a gun. I can't poke a bear with a stick. I can't star on Broadway. I can't be an astronaut. I can't keep resolutions. I can't declutter. I can't read War and Peace. I can't effing swear. I can't act my age. I can't join the circus. I can't wear a kilt. I can't kill. I can't gamble. I can't rap. I can't give up pasta or cheese or chocolate. I can't stop reading. And I can't stop writing. Okay, in honor of National Haiku Writing Month, this is a slightly longer poem called Visiting Shiki. Shiki was one of the 4 great masters of Japanese haiku, and he died in 1902, and he greatly reformed haiku and made it the world literature and the independent poem that it is today, independent from the longer linked verse poetry called Renga or Renku. And he's actually the person who named haiku. Before that, it was usually referred to as hoku. So we have Shiki, a lot to thank Shiki for. And something to know about him is that he died of tuberculosis and coughed up a lot of blood and was like a cuckoo, which is said to cough up blood before it dies. And I believe Shiki means cuckoo. I'd have to check. So he lived a tragic life and was in great pain for the last few years of his life and bedridden. And this poem is set during that time when he's bedridden, called Visiting Shiki. His sister lets me in through the sliding door. I slip off my shoes, leave them in the alcove, and follow her into his room, where he lies on his side on a messy futon. Give this man a drink, Shiki rasps. I presume he is used to visits from people he hardly knows, fellow poets and artists, and not just those he mentors or teaches. I sit down on a pillow next to him after bowing and saying, Hajime Mashite. He coughs with a wince and asks, "What brings you to visit?" As if he doesn't know it's haiku. I tell him of the coxcombs tall and blooming in his garden, 13 or 14 of them, I guess. And he tells me of wishing he could see them, like wishing he could have seen how much snow had fallen last winter. The seasons pass, he says, waving a hand, and he is still the same, bedridden with TB, his sister and mother feeding him, tending to his bed sores and toilet needs, taking dictation when he cannot write. And he says, "The season will come soon, when I can write no more." I ask him what he is working on, and he says some thoughts on things as they are. Chasse, he calls it, sketching from life. His painter friend from Europe has been showing Shiki his work when he could sit up enough to see it, and they had talked at length about the beauty of the ordinary. I leave the room when Shiki has a coughing fit, but return when his sister gestures me back in. I ask him about his hometown friend, Soseki, how I admire the Two Autumns poem, Yukiwari ni Todomaru Nare ni Akifutatsu, and whether he might try writing a novel like his friend. "No, just haiku," he sighs. "And essays too," I counter, and he smiles. Shiki's sister comes in again as quiet as the breeze through the shoji and says it's time for his pills. I take this as a sign that my time is up, but I ask about Kyoshi and Hekigoto and who he thinks will be best to succeed him, then instantly regret bringing up his mortality. "I'm gonna die soon," he croaks, and says the two of them will fight it out. I want to ask him about baseball, the last time he played or watched a game, and his love of steam trains, about his time in China during the war, his hometown, his thoughts on Basho and Busan, Isa and Chioni and 100 others. But I know this is too much for him, so I say, "Please forgive me. I need to leave now for an appointment. But might you share a poem with me before I go?" He reaches for his papers and an old inkstone, wheezing for a moment and whispers, "Why don't I write one out for you?" Then slowly he writes, shifting his weight on one elbow. "Oh, Matsuyama, higher than autumn, the castle tower." Then he nods and says, "Now you write one too." You see this?
Yep.
I can see
This
it.
is a haiku sequence called Forgiveness. The cowboy hat you never let me wear. Forgiven. Carolers at the door. Forgiven. Forgiven. My mailbox empty again. Fresh snow at the train station. Forgiven. Bits of soap still in the dish. Forgiven. A child's voice calling from off stage. Forgiven. The suicide note. The bottom of the drawer. Forgiven. Apple pie cooling on the counter. Forgiven. Forgiven. My Christmas letter returned to sender. The car radio left off the entire trip. Forgiven. Walking the gallery alone. A cereal bowl with leftover milk. Forgiven. The coast redwood now on its side. Forgiven. Forgiven. An outdoor chess set in the fog. The Confederacy statue in the downtown park. Pigeons parading along the dance hall roof. Forgiven. The iron grate elevator chimes at each floor. Forgiven. Toothpicks. Scattered. Forgiven. Dewdrops on the tips of the gift cactus. Forgiven. Cleaning the holes of the garlic press. Forgiven. Seed packet included with your letter. Forgiven. Harp strings wavering when you walk by. Forgiven. An unused plane ticket to Mazatlan. Forgiven. Full of buttons in your junk drawer. Forgiven. 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 The way home. All green lights.
That's great.
And to close, a final poem invoking Mary Oliver. This is called Within. If I were to write like Mary Oliver, I'd be better off if I moved off the grid, near a marsh with muskrats, a stream or two, gentle hills, a woods that went on and on, farther than I could walk, snags with woodpecker holes, and the trills of goldfinches that I'd come to know individually, worlds in my palm, fished up from a pond, weather above, never a metaphor for internal struggle. I'd accept nature's invitations, learn to pay attention, feel the rhythm of the bees and bear grass too, and the bears. I'd learn the poem that writes itself in the wind, before any pen presses paper. The poems I need to go without to find within. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much, Michael. That was really beautiful stuff. Thank you so much for being here. And if you have a book there for sale, please put that in the chat. And this is now the time where we would take a 15-minute break. Everybody would buy whatever Michael was selling, and we would, you know, go over and get a glass of wine or a beer. So, but the perks of joining us from your living room or the Rockies or the kitchen or your office or your bedroom is we can drink our tea. We can still, you know, have a little wine if we want to, and we can be comfortable. So, but Michael, thank you so much for being here and showing up here in the digital Zoom realm of Ghost Town. One day we'll be able to meet again, I hope. I pray. I know it will be soon. Next, we're going to hear from one of my favorite people and somebody I always look forward to hearing from, Joanne Boswell. Welcome to the stage.
Thank you. So when we came in tonight, I thought I knew which poem I was going to read, and now I'm torn. So I'm going to give you a choice again. Would you like a somber poem? And if you do, you could like make like a tear. Or would you like a cheesy romantic poem? And then you could make a heart. If you don't care, you don't have to vote, but I'm going to take a second and look. I'm seeing one tear eye. Oh, a couple of tear eyes. Okay. Those of you who wanted the somber poem, pop your email address up and I'll send it to you. It's about the man who was killed by police last week in Hazeldale. So if you want that, you can ask me for it and I'll send it to you. But this is the one I almost read to you 2 months ago when you picked my loopy poem instead. But since it's Valentine's month, I wrote this poem this summer on my way home from my wedding anniversary trip with my husband. And it was our 10th anniversary. And so I was intentionally leaning into kind of a cheesy realm that I don't normally go to. So it was kind of fun. It's called Anniversary. A decade is two hands woven together at the webbing. A decade is blue soap gently turning over palms. A decade is one pentagon stacked upside down atop another. A decade is inset spoons shifting each time the drawer opens. A decade is still not learning tennis because the rackets are quarantined. A decade is guacamole green oozing through my lover's fingers. A decade is more beer and less bread. A decade is torn envelopes, shredded cereal boxes, and cracked doors. A decade is spontaneous duets drowning out kid space dramas. A decade is 6 plays, 3 children, 1 doctorate, 2 books. A decade is 8 addresses dripping down online shopping carts. A decade is a passport filled and again, stamps coagulate. A decade is aluminum origami endurance. A decade is easy. Sunday mornings are not. A decade is a lone comet streaking tales of stardust, the toil of moon rocks. A decade is damp hair casually caressed on long summer drives. A decade is parallel tunnels stretching along the Columbia River. A decade is the Pacific Ocean at twilight, rippling out beyond the rocks. A decade is silver whispers, reinventing familiar landscape. A decade is us coming home.
Woohoo!
Thank you. And I'll send the somber one to those of you who.
Yay for cheesy love poems. Yay for love. Joanne, thank you so much.
I wrote
Love
down
that.
your phrase, aluminum origami endurance. I kind of fell in love with that.
And it didn't seem that cheesy.
Right. It was more like real. It was just like genuine, authentic from the heart and soul. Next, we're going to hear from a longtime Ghost Town community member and one of all of our favorite people, Jim Martin. Jim, welcome to the Ghost Town stage.
Thank you. I had several I was going to choose from, and then I found an old one that I wrote in 2008, just after the election when Barack Obama was elected. I have an old Navy friend, and we're still very good friends. He's a really nice guy. He's an environmentalist. He does a lot of work for mentally ill people. He's a very strong member of his community. He goes out and finds sailors who are on the ship that we were on and helps them hook up with the organization that still keeps Quarterly magazine going. So this is after, many years. But he's also very odd when it comes to politics. And the title of my poem is, excuse me, Intentional Stance. That's a term that Dennis Dennett proposed a long time ago that says that if you watch something and observe them for a long period of time, then you can guess what they're going to do in any situation. And he calls that intentional stance. This starts with a quote from my friend. His name is Boone, B-O-O-N-E. That's his nickname. He was originally from Boone, Iowa. And the rest is written as he would have written it. I recommend a Moss 350 shotgun. I've got one. They're going to riot if they win this election. Boone. Somewhere inside, a gear turned. Now the sheriff orders ammo 60 days in advance. Gun stores are out. Boone is stockpiling. Boxes of ammo rise in the basement. A wall, the only thing between him and the liberals intent on the revolution, telling him he may not keep his gun. Practices in the basement, moves to make when they crash through the front door. Emails all and sundry, get your gun and ammo now. I highly recommend a shotgun, Moss 350. I have one and I'm stashing ammo. They're going to come. Now they're in power and we have to be ready. I'm here waiting, armed. I was shocked when I first got the message from him that basically said this same thing. Thinking something like that would never happen. And now here we are. So I thought I'd read that tonight.
Whoa, that was heavy.
Wow, Jim.
Judge,
We love you, Jim.
Thanks, Jim.
Judge 009.
Thank you. Yes, I'm a judge at the Science and Engineering Fair, and somehow that pops up now.
So glad you're here, Jim, and thank you so much for sharing. Wow. Next, we're going to hear from a beautiful musician and artist and poet in the community, Jennifer Pratt Walter. Welcome. So good to see you, Jennifer. Are you out there?
Oh, I'm here. Yeah, it took me a moment to find my mute. So yes, I'm a musician, and I've been debating about what to read tonight. And I have a new song that's a poem, or a poem that's a song. So it's about being a musician in COVID times. And it's called Still Making Music. So I'm getting over laryngitis, but I think I'll try to sing it anyway. In my heart, we're still making our music together, even though through the days we feel so alone. In my heart, we're still playing such music together. Inside, how our dancing goes on. Inside, you are notes in my song. I remember the joy, sharing lyric and melody, and how that sweet harmony carried us along. I know a day will come when we sit down together and music pours out unbound, ripples in a lake of sound. In my heart, we're still making our music together, even though through the days we feel so alone. In my heart, we're still playing such music together. Inside, how our dancing goes on. Inside, you are notes in my song. Inside, you are notes in my song.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah.
Really
Awesome.
Beautiful.
Laryngitis? No way.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
Thank you.
beautiful.
Really
Thank you.
lovely, beautiful lyrics.
Just way to pull all of our heartstrings, Jennifer. Just, I mean, like, talk about a romantic Valentine's Day, just longing and yearning, and gosh, how just thank you. Thank you for bringing that beautiful song.
Someday,
So very
someday.
tender, very tender.
What were those lyrics at the very last line again about notes? You are the notes in my song.
Inside, you are notes in my song.
Oh, I like that. Writing it down.
So much gratitude.
Yes, beautiful.
Phoenix out of reach, no fair.
And next we're going to hear from our good friend, Bruce Hall. I'm so glad to see Bruce twice this week, once at the workshop on Monday with Christopher Luna, The Work, and now today. What's up, Bruce?
Not much, and there's another work on Saturday for everybody.
Another one
to
on
come and
Saturday.
Get inspired by everybody that's with you. It works great. And I wrote this at one of the Monday workshops. It should be, but it's not. It should be sunny and warm the day after the grass is mowed. No fresh cut grass smell to bring on the snot river and allergy pills. But it is not. It is February and the groundhog came out 3 times. To be sure, no shadow in a snowstorm. It should be a holiday, the Monday after the Super Bowl. National Hangover Day, a day and a half to chase a rush, a sellout, not of toilet paper, but the product from the best commercial. But it is not. Your bloated head and your stomach holding back the hurricane storm surge or dragged to work because you never waste a perfectly good day of sick leave when you don't feel well. It should be the dawning of the age of unity, when we can all accept each other's differences, discuss issues, and meet on common ground. But it is not. A two-party system always has a winner and a loser. No other sides to share a loss. No other party to collaborate with, to have a shared victory. Red fish, blue fish, green fish, goldfish. Always a goldfish, always.
Cool.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Love it.
Thank you, Bruce. Hey, Morgan, are you going to read something to us this evening?
Oh gosh, yeah. Actually, I would love to. I'll read the poem that I wrote actually in the work as well. Thank you. Thanks for reminding me, because I always am like wondering where I should kind of slide a poem in there. But appreciate you for the invitation.
Yeah, and I appreciate you and Bruce mentioning the work. I put in the chat that you can send me an email if you'd like to join us. I'm currently doing 3 drop-in workshops a month, so you can email me about that or look at printedmattervancouver.com for more info. And I really, I deeply appreciate all the people that have been to the workshops and mentioned them at Ghost Town. You absolutely do not have to do that, and it means a lot to me. So, thanks.
Well, absolutely, because every single time, I mean, there's a reason we all keep showing up, Chris. We produce and we get inspired, and it just feeds my soul. And you know what? I come out with 3 poems, whether they're shit or whether they're good, you know, it gives me something to work on and something to, you know, just really get into. And also the introduction to new poets. Every single time I take the, you know, the workshop, it's intro to new poets. So it's phenomenal. This is Untitled. The wind bears dead leaves in its mouth, frothing winter meanderings out of its pursing lips of stratus clouds, blowing stories of renewal through channels of silver zephyr to the bony, pining branches dressed in the raw dross of the oppressor. These nude trees pine to scratch the masculine face of change. Their contemporary visitor, the gale force, grants them grace to give testimony to the spring florets about the renewed impulse that is born from death's repose. Buds ready to burst forth little green bodies, sensitive and hungry for light.
Beautiful.
That was cool. There.
That was just as good as Monday or better.
I want to wish Morgan that. I want to wish you a happy birthday tomorrow, and also announce that Morgan will be our featured reader for next month. She has a pretty amazing book of poetry called Lick the Psychic, which you should check out. Maybe Morgan can put a link to that in the chat. And I'm really happy that she'll be our guest next month. And Eileen, who we heard from earlier, and has this new great book, Pobrecitos, with amazing illustrations by a couple of VSAA artists. She'll be our featured reader for National Poetry Month in April. So we've got some really amazing poets coming up in the next couple of months, and I hope that you will be here with us for those. Yeah, Morgan, I don't know what you're doing tomorrow, but I hope whatever it is, it's really great. And I'm glad you were born. Just wanted to say that.
I appreciate you. And there's like a little secret part of me that wants to be snowed in up here with my books and my dog. And I just got 3 kittens. So they're little black kittens. So I'm thinking of naming them either the Sanderson sisters or maybe the Weird sisters, because they're all girls. Anyway, I've had my hands full. So thank you, Chris.
Well, have fun and be safe up there. Next, we're going to hear from Susan Dingle. Welcome, Susan Dingle, to Ghost Town Poetry Open Mic.
Thank you. What a wonderful evening. I want to thank all the poets, and this has been an amazing, amazing evening. I I just don't even know what to read. This is from my book, In Pilgrim Drag, which was published by Finishing Line Press. And well, I'll do what Joe did, and I'll ask you: do you want to hear a kind of snarky poem or a more lyrical poem? Just give me a sense of that. Snarky attitude poem. Okay. This is Big Sister in the Promised Land. Bring me your broken stuff. I will hand out slick prayers and wristbands. I drive into a tree at 90 miles an hour and walk away. I am made of steel, densely packed as any molecule on the surface of Mars. People look at me like I'm crazy. I hand out leaflets on how to be grateful. I took the laundry down to the washer, set it on fire, then call 911. It is embarrassing when dinner guests ask what happened to the tablecloth. I know you didn't mean it. It was all my fault. I did not see the silver lining. You are always so positive, like when the wind blew the roof off the house and you say, now we can see the stars. I said, in a hurricane, there are no stars. Now I am sorry. I stole your dream, and instead you got diabetes. You were so hooked on sugar. You kept a refrigerator in the living room. You couldn't throw anything away. The two of us patched together with bleeding prayers. At last, I will tell the truth, and it will set you free. But it is too broken to make any sense. When the language betrayed us, this is how I cry. This is what it looks like after 40 years in the desert when you see the promised land.
Thank you, Susan. And I just put the link for the Finishing Line book in Pilgrim Drag into the chat if anyone would like to purchase a copy of that.
It's absolutely stunning piece. Yeah.
Thank you, Susan. And our next reader is Eric Christensen. Please say hello to Eric, everybody.
So I was thinking about how things are different now in this century from when I first became active on police brutality issues back in about 1989, and how different it is now when almost everybody seems like they have a pretty high quality camera on their person at all times, and how this has made a big difference in the public perception of racism and police violence, because now all the things that people like me have been talking about for decades, there's now evidence that everybody can see. And it reminded me of a poem that I wrote back in 1996 about how at that time, how we shared information about what was going on was by word of mouth in the community. So many people who didn't have firsthand experience of things like that just refused to believe what was happening. So people kept telling each other their stories, waiting for the day when their stories would be heard and taken seriously. This is called Whispers and Rumors. Bullet holes in his chest leak life like stars losing light into a galaxy that will be swallowed up by its suns. Blood limps back to its primeval void that this cinder and waiting planet perches precariously on. We can't seem to wait for that final cosmic death. We have to litter our days with smaller deaths for some vision of bloodied eternity. If you have a gun, the cops will say you were reaching for it. If you're Black, the mayor will say you already had it out and pointed at them, and with your body silent, everyone will believe them. Everyone, that is, except. Everyone, that is, except. A chorus of whispered voices. They echo up air shafts with smell of cooking, over morning papers and coffee, reverberating through alleys and through broken fences, over past pipes and sipped beers, between notes of a crying trumpet, choking sobs that are harm and mute, muttered between sets beneath the pulse of applause, handed over with the change at the convenience store, passed down the university lunch line, punched in from one shift to another at the packing house, in that clear, muted voice that sends tremors on the desert's surface, that bears witness in this barren land when it seems there are only jackals to hear, when the sky shakes out its sighs to nourish the thirsty dust, and the air will remember the songs it cradled, and what we know will be heard, and the voice that sings even under torture will speak forever. Weep not for me, Jerusalem, but for yourselves and for your children.
Damn. Fucking awesome.
Oh. Amazing.
Did Eric.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to hear from Rose Ram.
Okay.
Welcome, Rose.
Hey, everybody.
Rose.
Yay.
It's so good to be in your presence, you guys. Okay, so I wrote this morning. I've been thinking a lot about gender issues. Well, learning a lot, actually. So for now, it's going to be titled Snail in the Garden, Heaven in the Down Low. Her gender holds her down, holds her in, holds out for nothing. She paces the cage of sex. They do, I mean. I always mean they and them. But I forget because my rigid gray matter holds her, them in place like that. Archetypal anima, soft, sweet bitchiness, the flowing hair and feminine forgiveness as her mother importuned, scolding gently like a woman should. Ladies were to give way, take it like a man. Men were so reasonable and women talk too much. Men just want sex all the time. The ladies' sufferance, white gloves, satin dress to match the pillbox. But my thought shadows, prison bars, my diachromatic lens prescription, take two genders, call me in the morning. We don't feel well, doctor. No one understudied the script you wrote for us in the pre-dawn of the 6th day. We are healers now in this waltz, Cinderellas and princes, and us all between and beyond take the lead. Was that the point? For none to shoe in for the lead part, to hold us down and out or in? You never know with us, to trumpet a lie of a name at the door frame when the name we know but don't utter is I am. But we know that we were made in love by a man and a woman, whatever those are, semen spume and egg nest. Out of the lab and back to earth, we idle. Good enough's good enough. I hardly take an aspirin. And the girl that I birthed wants testosterone and to give shape to a butch haircut. I study the artifice, ornate or rough-hewn facade that hosts a porch full of family or runs straight up from the sidewalk 30 stories high. What's inside? Art Deco or colonial? Craftsman, old home, Pueblo? The articles and arrangement
I can too. Yeah, I think we might have lost Rose.
No.
Yeah, did she just
harm agents, posture, selfishness?
She's back.
Oh, oh boy, sorry. I'll get rid of the video, it'll help.
Yeah, you broke up.
What was the last bit that you heard?
Let's go back about it. Go back, I don't know, like a stanza or two and just jump back into it. We're loving it.
Okay.
The list of architecture is the last.
Oh, architecture. Okay, awesome. Thank you. We're on the facade. And then what's inside? Art Deco or colonial? Craftsman, old home, Pueblo? The articles and arrangement in your home, your sacred space and entitlement. Your bedroom, none of my business, but to love you. When you welcome me to your parlor, your guest but holds you in high regard. We step out of the old way, girls, pink dolls, and subservience. boys, harm agents, posture, selfishness. It's good for a girl to be shy, she prescribed, in front of her recoiling snail of a daughter who sucked in her eyes for seeing and full stopped the fairy sparkle opals trail her everywhere. But now they carry their house on their back. Aunties once over the curb appeal. Taking in the facade, they might crunch them on the sidewalk, yet they'll ooze and proliferate everywhere soft, and legions permeate the garden. Slow and low they know to taste the fig and shuck the leaves. Men and women he made them, and it was good, they said, holding it up to high heavens like they knew.
Hey,
Rose. Wow.
Thanks for hanging in there with the technical difficulties. That was a great poem, Rose.
Archetypal anima. Like, whoa. I would love to read that again. Like, where can I read that again?
I don't know yet. I guess I gotta find out.
Our next reader is someone who, like Jim Martin, has been coming since the very first Ghost Town Poetry Open Mic way back in November 2004. Lori Lorenger, please say hello to my good friend Lori. We love her.
Hey,
yes, Lori.
Now I just gotta get where I can find the poem here. There we go. I just gotta get rid of the full screen to get to my other stuff. Okay. This is called Badass Cat. Miss Violet is a badass, past 20 and still hunting. Does not need a house, but the front porch was nice. Where did it go? She meows after the rubble quit smoking. She means the porch, not the house, but they both went to the same place. Now she's like Camp Out Cat in her own tent city, population 1, homeless and making do with whatever didn't melt, all piled together between the north tree line and the container we store tools in while we rebuild. Miss Violet has always been a badass. Used to call her Miss Violent because she fought all the other cats and always won. She can still catch a rabbit, big as she is. She's fast, runs from everything that moves just in case, unless it's smaller. She's got hiding places everywhere. Found her in the dry culvert after the fire. We feed her several times a day when we're able, showing up to work with her favorite canned cat food, variety pack. She eats one, calls for another, and gets it. Not because she can't take care of herself, because she can. She's a badass cat. Still, even the most capable among us might enjoy a meal delivery once in a while. It's mid-October already, and the rains have come. Extra food keeps you warmer. It comes with company and stroking, head rubs and conversation that remind you why you bother to eat, and that even badasses need love.
Yes.
And we finally convinced Violet to come in, and now she's becoming a very devoted house cat who doesn't want to go outside for any reason. So it's been kind of hilarious to watch.
Very cat.
Yeah, I'm just gonna lay on the couch and do nothing else. You know, there's a mouse in here. I've been trying to get her to chase it. You know, good luck with it.
She's probably telling you, "I've retired now."
Yeah, right. I mean, she's earned it. Seriously.
What a life. How many lives has that cat lived? Just amazing. I loved it, Lori. It's so good to see you, genuinely. So excited to introduce our next open mic, Ghost Town open mic, Zoom edition reader, Scott Yaeger. We know him. He used to, for years, he helped with audio and the mic anytime we needed help. So, you know what, Scott, and we don't need help right now with the mic, but hopefully again, one day we'll be able to ask you to adjust the mic stand. And I would just wait for that day. I'm so excited. So anyway, Scott Yaeger, everybody.
Hi, thanks Morgan, and thank you Christopher. I'm so grateful to be able to see all of your faces. Okay, I've engaged gallery view, so now I'm so grateful to be able to see all of your faces at the same time and hear your words. And I have a poem to share. When the planets align, it's once in a lifetime. We follow this brightest star toward an auspicious birth of a planet and its people, seeking reconciliation, healing of excoriation, the shaking hands of yesterday smooth over tomorrow's sculpture. This is what we built here, in the megalithic wondering, in the slums of our shame, in the suburban silence, we hear possibility. Jupiter laughs as Saturn's serious face softens just a bit.
Beautiful. Love it.
Thank you, everybody.
Scott.
I especially liked your sway, Scott. I don't know if you always do that, but it felt very meditative.
I hadn't noticed, so thanks for pointing it out.
Yeah, very, very gently, just very slowly back and forth. It just brought me in a very uniquely visceral way.
Yes, thank you so much, Scott. That's kind of how Scott just talks. That's how he is. He's just this beautiful being. And I've been taking these sound sessions with him recently, and we've been practicing and doing some singing voice activation with the throat, with the singing bowls, and today the drum. And it's been a great experience with Scott. And he just has that cadence. He has that presence too. So thank you, Scott. Thanks for being here. We miss you.
How do you join that group? I'm very interested in voice. So,
well, I just reached out to Scott. He had just went to the Sound Institute. Do you want to say a little something about that, Scott? What your offerings are? Because you would tell her better than I would.
Sure. Yeah. So I don't host any group offerings at this time, but I am open to working with folks one-on-one if you have some interest in the large world that is sound healing, which I consider to be everything from listening to your favorite music and feeling good to the laying on the ground covered in singing bowls or laying on a sound table or whatever. I'm really into helping folks to use their own voice for relaxation and healing in your body. So if anyone is interested in that, like more resources, places to go read, or connecting with me, I'll put my email in the chat. Thanks, Morgan.
Thank you.
Of course. And Lorraine, yeah, maybe we could get a little group going here in the future. You never know. But yeah, it's been really great to explore the voice and yeah, that kind of altered state. It's super meditative and really relaxing. All right, so we've got a couple more readers here tonight, and one of our last readers is Kristin Bolger. Kristin, welcome to the Ghost Town stage.
Thank you. You guys hear me okay? Yeah, because it doesn't let me hear myself, so that's like, all right. Hey, knock it off. I got a cat gonna chew on my headphones here. All right, so my poem's called Talking Myself into Breakfast. I changed so much so rapidly. Most people are startled. This would continue as I find myself. This ride is not for everyone, and I seem to have a pretty wrapper, but am an acquired flavor. Never having been anyone's favorite for long, I'm finding peace with that. For longer and longer stretches, no mania or panicked happiness, caffeine shakes and a bellyache from Zoloft on no food again. Ghosts keep me out of the kitchen, the unspoken military boundary of the dishes that are no longer my responsibility. You two figure it out. I cannot risk the triggering fallout. I go back for more coffee and forget why I went in the kitchen. I moved the coffee pot to my bedroom, so at least I have access to that. My stomach growls. I hate myself, and the cycle begins again. I managed to open an English muffin and get it into the toaster. Caffeinated triggers. The sweetest cat in the world screaming at me. The more my body freaks out, the louder he gets. Gotta calm myself down. But how can I? No, toasted twice. I am fighting ghosts for this. I am making it the way I like it, damn it. Food. Too much caffeine? I love you, you screaming dumbass. Please shut up, please. Pop. Fuck butter in a plate. A napkin will do. Back to the room, screaming, following. If I shut the door, he will just scratch and continue to scream. I'm not even mad. How's he supposed to know? I have a hard time getting anyone to understand my triggers. Facebook, English muffin crumbs are created through mindless crunching. If I pay attention, I might lose my appetite. Gotta keep my momentum. It's gone. Sigh. I know it's not enough. I'm gonna have to do this again. Screamer, convinced that all is now well, has fallen into his normal relaxed silence. He only screams when I'm having a really hard time, of course. Just trying to help. Cats, I roll. Little solitaire. What time is it? Do I have any coffee left?
Nice.
That was pure joy.
Thank you so much, Kristin, and yeah, closing us out here on a light note. Not so closed out, but yes, and bringing that cat energy. There's all the cats here tonight. The cats are coming out. Thank you so much for being here and getting added to the list there. Now we have our host with the most, excuse me, collage artist extraordinaire. I'd love to introduce my good friend, Christopher Luna, somebody we all know, somebody we all love. Please read us a poem, Christopher, to close the night out. And I'd be honored to introduce you here, co-host.
Thank you. Thanks so much. Thank you, everyone, for being here. I mean, we're doing the best that we can under strange circumstances, but we really have kept the community going, and these meetings have been so important for me, and I hope for other people, helping to keep you feeling connected. And so one of the things that I do at open mic readings is I try to read something that's sort of like new and untested. So this is the most recent thing that I've written, and it does not yet have a title. So I'm open to suggestions. You can, most of you have my email address. You could email me, or you could put something in the chat if you'd like, if you have an idea for a title for this poem. No time for that which don't grab me, stir my soul. Collapse time so hard, the white heat burst and swirl and explode outward. To connect me with all beings, sentient and inanimate. The paradox of breath, the unconscious certainty of love. Let me be generator and receptacle. Dance with me, feel the electricity each time your delicious beauty were close to me. Thanks.
Christopher.
I feel pretty good about the poem, to be honest with you. So far, I think it's okay. I just don't have any idea what the hell to call it. Sure, you've had that experience. I want to say thank you to Morgan Page, and happy birthday to Morgan Page, and a big thank you to Michael Dillon Welch for his featured reading. And really to everyone that's here, including the people that came just to listen, all of your energy is crucial to this being whatever it is, and it's just like when we were in person, a completely different experience every month. So anyway, I had a wonderful time, and I hope you did too, and please stay in touch with us as we move forward into a strange but better year.
Yay, goodbye everybody.
Love you all.
Love
Thank
you.
you, everyone.
Thank you so much to Michael.
Thanks,
Good
Michael.
night. What a pleasure.
Absolutely, yeah.
Bye, thanks.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hey, good to see
Thank
you
you,
all.
everyone. It was wonderful.
Bye-bye. Nice to see you all.
Thank you. Good to see you.
So good to see you all. Thank you.
Mwah.
This is pretty groovy watching people disappear, isn't it?
But it's weird because I don't want the people to disappear. I'm like, where's the after party?
You know they're still there somewhere.
Hi, GL. I'm glad you were here with us.
Oh, thank you for letting me in. I really appreciate it.
Got it. You were beyond last minute. I think I saw your request and we were like, you know, probably like the way through.
I know, right? I was like, there's got to be a Zoom link in here someplace. And I was like, oh, no, there's a message saying, message me by 3 o'clock. And I was like, oh, yeah. It's like 5 minutes to 7. So, and then I got involved. I surfed through the bio and got involved in reading Michael's work. So when you messaged me with it, I was too busy reading his essays about what haiku should and shouldn't be and Luke things. So I was like, oh no! So I was lucky I got get to.
Yeah, Michael's website has got a lot of info. We lost your audio. I don't know what happened, but I love you. I'm gonna say goodnight.
Yeah, I don't think, yep. Okay.